Hello and welcome back to Driving Ohm.
Again.
Hello and welcome to the very first, but not the first, Driving Ohm podcast on YouTube.
On YouTube, yeah.
Well, this is a visual podcast, which we have done before on members only, but then stopped doing it because we couldn't be bothered.
No.
But now it's back. But this is very much an audio thing. We're only filming it because it's on YouTube.
Otherwise, we won't bother.
I do have some YouTube news though.
Do you?
YouTube have started supporting podcasts.
Which is funny timing, given that we're doing this. It's almost like someone's got a microphone in this room.
It is. So from April onwards, they started supporting podcasts. So you tick something as a podcast, it's a separate playlist, and you can listen to it on YouTube Music.
YouTube Music? That's
the app.
A thing?
Yep. If you download the YouTube Music app, click on podcasts at the top, you can listen to it without having to
open your phone.
Have your screen on.
Oh, that is amazing.
In America.
Hello to all our American friends.
The feature hasn't yet come over to the UK. We're usually a few months behind. So if it's out, then you don't you don't need to have that screen on to listen to it.
Yeah.
It's a normal podcast then.
Right, that's amazing.
And some more quite interesting statistics for you. I think it's like 28%, which is the biggest share of anyone. YouTube has the biggest share of any platform for people listening to podcasts.
That's bizarre, because you can't, until now, you would have to, unless you got the premium package, you'd have to have your phone unlocked and open.
So I think people are watching more podcasts.
Right.
Than like the Joe Rogan sort of thing. They're actually watching it.
Obviously ours is going to be, a considerable sort of...
I mean, we did consider bringing in this and the other. We've got two of these.
That's a microphone, thank God.
It's got blue on it. So yeah, we have considered getting the proper microphones, doing all that, but we're just going to see how it goes for now. Yeah,
it's a lot of effort to do that, isn't it? And also, once you've got a microphone in front of you, it sort of blocks the view of the camera.
It does, yeah, and we have to be sat opposite and blah blah blah. Anyway, should we get on with the actual podcast? Because at the moment I'm treating it like a video, and anyone listening to it won't have a clue what I've just showed everyone.
This is true.
We need to stop being visual. Stop being visual.
Right, camera's not there.
Camera's not there.
I keep telling the missus.
She's going to kill you when she finds out, isn't she? Right, now we're going to talk about used electric vehicles. We've done this,
in
about 18 months ago, can you believe?
Yeah.
On a previous podcast. But at the moment, and I've done a recent video on this as well, as you might know, it's a
current topic of ours, isn't it? Where we're constantly texting each other with
look at this, it's gone
down.
I mean, we've probably been doing this for the past couple of months, as in looking on Auto Trader and going, oh look. So we've very much been looking at the market just go down and down for some cars.
Well, I think it's
electric.
I think we've been looking consistently probably since last year. Do you remember when the prices went sky high? And
I considered selling the Tesla.
Yeah, the Nero Electric First Edition was nearly the same price.
It's nearly 30 grand.
Yeah, and then the difference between then and now.
You're looking at 20 now for 2021 for the
equivalent.
It's a big reset, and we've dealt with this on the channel many times, so we're not going to see why it hasn't plummeted before anyone says it's just reset to a normal amount. It's caught up, yeah. But it does mean that there's some relative, for EVs, bargains out there in EV land.
Also, it does make the electric car, I say, affordable.
Yeah, certainly within the... I mean, there's quite a few people going, actually, I could afford
one now, yeah. As a second car, maybe.
Or even
a little run around.
A Tesla or a Kia, something like that. Nero is now within reach.
Yeah.
And the general plan we've got, and it is kind of as we always do, make it up as we go along, is to effectively buy once funds arrive or maybe arrive, is to get a cheap electric car just to see what
is an older one.
Yeah, like a 10-year-old.
Yeah,
probably Zoe.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm keeping an eye on the market, because how many times do you hear that?
Yeah.
10-year-old batteries, I mean, in general.
Well, I think it's going to be a great thing for the channel, because everyone goes on about, after 10 years, it's going to be absolutely useless. You're going to be able to do 4 or 5 miles in it.
All the time. It was 3 years, then 5 years.
Yeah.
Like we're going back when I first started.
And now we're not too sure.
And now it's 10 years. So
it's a 100,000 mile car thing, isn't it? It's just 100,000 mile, it's going to fall to pieces.
Yeah, so I mean, there's not a huge amount, relatively speaking, of them out there, because there were not many sold in 2013, 2014. Let's assume we get a Zoe just to make it easy.
We're not going to get a Leaf, are we?
I've had 2. I don't want another.
You need something a little bit.
And it is going to be a relatively temporary purchase.
Yeah.
So
you buy it, we do some content with it,
and then you move on.
We move on. Yeah.
Might even
Who knows? You may even buy it.
Well, yeah, because if I buy a car, look at it, maybe tighten it up a bit, and it's like, well, actually, this is not far off where it was when it was brand new.
We can do a range test.
Yeah,
you'll know how far it goes.
And then you can buy it and think, well, actually, it's with some level of confidence that battery's fine.
Yeah.
So here's a question for you, with the Zoe specifically, because it's the only option. Battery lease or no battery lease?
I think if you can get them for roughly the same price, I'm talking £300 to £400.
There's not much difference, is there?
I would go for the battery owned.
Do you think?
I think, but we would need to use the app, which I've downloaded to my phone now, and some sort of OBD2 reader, just to see what the battery health is, and maybe go for an extended test drive.
I think the test drive's the big one.
For me, being a Yorkshireman, I'm going, I can save £50 a month. Yeah, I'll do that.
Well, yeah.
Why not?
They all seem to be at the moment, excuse me, about £1,800.
Hay fever season.
Yeah, I'll clear my throat on a podcast. That's always a really good idea.
Yeah.
They all seem to be priced at £1,800 to buy the battery out,
which is nearly half the price.
It's a lot, isn't it?
If you're looking at a £4,000 car.
So part of me thinks if you buy a battery lease, you don't have to worry at all about the battery. That's the one benefit of the Zoe.
How many Zoes do we know that have got knackered batteries?
I've not really heard of. When you say batteries, we mean one that's the car's fine, but the battery's knackered, because you get wrecks and smashes.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're not. They've got a large buffer.
Yeah, and also they've been relatively slowly charged most of their lives.
Yeah, they don't do rapid charging, so I guess that helps as well. But that big buffer makes a big difference from what I understand. So it eats away the buffer before it affects your actual range. I
saw one for sale the other week. I think it was nearly 10 years old with around 92%, was it? 92, 93?
That's what they said. The only thing with the app I've come to after doing a bit of research is that Renault apparently did a software update, as did Nissan. It's probably the same one.
Where they used the buffer? Is that where they gave
basically it was reading the battery health wrong. So
yeah, right.
Yeah. Reading
God, we haven't replaced lots of these batteries.
Let's just change it. So I've watched, I've read a few forums that are now obviously like a year or two old posts.
Yeah.
Where someone said, it says I've got like 60% battery health or something silly. This can't be right because I'm doing the same mileage.
Yeah.
So they've gone into Renault, got this update that lots of people have had, and then it's gone, I'm at 95%, this is brilliant. And then within 2 weeks it goes to realistically what you'd probably be at. So it's got like 90, every day I come out, it's 2% lower.
Wife's trying to figure out how much capacity is left.
I mean, the ultimate test is, if we could drive it, I would say what?
In this weather, summer?
Half the battery would be ideal, but that might be a bit of a long test drive.
It depends how good the battery is.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, if we drove it 20 miles and it was on, I mean, what would you get? I think you get about 80 miles in this weather at a summer. Have a new one.
Yeah.
On average, of course. So if we did 20 miles and it's,
it's 50%, we're going to have to give that a wide berth.
Probably, yeah. So I think we could probably judge it by a reasonable test drive. Yeah. But for me, that's the biggest test. The app is guessing, isn't it?
Yeah.
How can you possibly know how, via software, how healthy a battery truly is?
It's going to be the test's going to be doing what I think doing a 35 mile trip if you can in it.
But then part of me thinks if someone's selling a battery on Zoe for $4,500 that does 60 miles instead of 80, it's still going to be worth $4,500 to somebody. Yeah. So you're always going to get your money back. And judging by what they go on eBay, the batteries alone are going for like $3,000.
Well, I think as well, if you, I know when I've looked at the MOT history and checked how many miles it's doing each year. If it's been sat there for 3 years doing nothing, it's probably not that good thing to go for it. But if you're doing 6,000, 7,000 miles a year, you go, well, it must work.
And some people, I think, are incorrectly pricing them.
Yeah.
Because if you go on, I don't know, What Car or Glasses Guide, wherever you get a price estimation, because I think Auto Trader probably gives you an idea as well, doesn't it? But I think it assumes they're all battery leased, because they probably are.
Yeah.
And it's
a rarity, isn't it, the battery owned?
Well, all the battery owned versions say battery lease in the advert, but then at the bottom goes battery owned. Yeah. So it's clearly Auto Trader filling it in for you. So I'm thinking the Auto Trader's going, oh, this is worth about $4,500. When in reality, it's probably worth about $5,500.
And then we buy the cars worth about $3,000.
Well, yeah, that's it. Worst case scenario, I guess, which is something I don't want to do, but is you we buy any car and you lose £1,000, which is a lot of money, but ultimately it's not like the car's going to be worthless.
No.
We'll be able to test it.
I think if the channel, back to the channel, document it. Like I say, if it needs any bits doing to it, we get them sorted out. It'd be nice to get one that's got maybe a bit of scuffs on it or a bit rough around the edges, just to give us a bit of content, sorting all that out. Once that's all done, and it's mechanically sound, the battery's good, I don't think you're going to struggle getting rid, because you've got
people who
target
know
audience
exactly what they're buying, as well. Even if it's the
buying
battery
confidence
health isn't great. But then I think, the battery leased version literally means you don't have to worry about it at all. So is that?
Yeah,
but it's a tough one, isn't it?
I think with the battery leased one, when I first looked into this, I'm going leased. Yeah, that's good, because if anything does go wrong with it, but how wrong does it have to be before they'll replace it?
Below 70, I think it's 70 or 75%.
So it has to be pretty broken.
Pretty much. And technically, all they have to do is get it above 70-75%.
Yeah.
Although everyone I've ever heard of, which is about 2 people with a leaf,
they've replaced all the dead cells.
Well, no, they just take one out and put a new one in.
They'll have one off the shelf.
They're not going to repair your battery. They won't even know how.
Only if that comes out from the bottom. Does it drop out?
Probably, yeah. So I've not found anybody after looking who's had a battery replacement with a Zoe. I think purely because of the degradation.
I wonder if the battery replacement is more likely a faulty battery from start or something like that, or whether there's part of a circuit
manufacturing problem.
Yeah, manufacturing problem. Yeah.
I'm not too concerned about the drivetrains, although I guess anything it can go wrong. But it's a 10-year-old car, whatever, or 9-10-year-old car.
Well, you'd think you're going to have wear and tear like bushes, suspension parts.
There's going to be brakes and stuff like
exhaust rusting.
I was just about to go, and then I thought, no, wait a minute.
But apart from that, it's a French car that's 10 years old. Should that worry us?
I don't think so, because they're always mechanically solid, usually. It's the electric... Oh.
Yeah.
No, I don't think
I think the whole French thing's all...
That hasn't existed for
a while. Yeah, because Nissan's bought them out and the quality didn't go up.
Well, that's what they did. Go, right, the perfect marriage, we're going to have Peugeot and Nissan. That is a perfect marriage, isn't it? The French kind of chicness with Nissan's solid build, but then they got Nissan to design the car and Renault to build it.
Yeah. It's like, no!
You've done it the wrong way around.
There's somebody really drunk who's gone, right, I've got to do something here. I've got to get, which one was it again?
So, no, but I think purely for content and out of curiosity a bit as well. 19-year-old Zoe... At worst case, I'll lose a little bit, but I might actually make some money, like I did with the Twizy. I bought that, sold that, and made some money.
I think you might make a little bit. I think we said, I remember having a conversation a couple of years ago when we were talking about a project car for the channel and going, we're going to need 10 grand before we can even start with anything.
Absolutely. And then
do we mod it? Halford style.
The trouble is, though, then selling it would be very difficult. I would need that money back.
Yes, it's true. What could you do with Zoe?
Well, it's not like there's a body kit I've heard of around. Other than putting LED lights or something terrible like that.
What was that one there?
Big exhaust.
That one there that Goodwood that year?
Oh, fake. The one that sound. It was basically a speaker that made it sound like anything.
They had didn't have a Zoe, but they had it with.
Oh, the racing Zoe.
Yeah.
That was 4-wheel drive and 2 motors and everything. It
Can
looked really
body
good.
Kit?
It looked fantastic, didn't it? As a hot hatch, that would have sold.
Well, I thought Renault would have been the first to come out with a hot electric hatch.
They sort of are out there with that Renault 5 Alpine electric version, although Abarth have beat them to it.
I'm surprised that, mini-ish.
Yeah, I don't know whether to consider it, because the Mini for me is the performance of the Cooper S, which I would consider a hot hatch. But the Mini electric just looks like a Mini 1 and doesn't...
You'd have to do a bit of...
I'm not a fan of it.
Put some bling on it, wouldn't you?
But even Minis are going for like 13-14 grand.
I know.
2020 they came out. They're not old cars.
Well, was it the Me?
Say it Me. That for me is the Billy Bargain of the bunch.
Yeah.
11, 6, 7.
What, a year and a half, 2 years old, was it?
2021 model. So yeah, let's call it 2-year-old.
Yeah.
For 11 and a half. Even if you say 12.
Yeah,
12 grand for a 2-year-old full electric car that does 140 miles.
Heated seats as well.
Heated seats,
heated steering wheel,
windscreen.
I
don't know about the steering wheel. Parking sensors, I think,
because there's only one model. Small car.
There's only one model of them, so you don't.
Makes it relatively
they're all
cheap
the same.
to make. Yeah.
The Skoda Citigo SEL, which is the top spec one, is the only one that does rapid charging, but that's about 13.5. So it's about £1.5. As is the Up.
I think the rarity of the Skoda. I did like the Skoda.
Same car, though, innit?
Do we have it in yellow? Was it yellow?
We did have it in yellow.
Yeah. There's some Billy that I say that's an absolute bargain at the moment.
It's 2-year-old, so the whole car's in warranty. The batteries obviously have their 7 or 8 years, whatever they have, and it's good chuckable fun.
Yeah.
Perfect as a second vehicle in the house.
Perfect as a as a first car, no matter what your age, really. I mean, not just for like, you know, a teenager or someone in their 20s who's passed the test, but as a second car.
And it'll get 120 miles at least in winter, probably 160, 70 in summer. And I won't say it was up GTI performance, but it wasn't far behind to 60.
It was fun.
And I just felt like I was driving a car rather than a computer.
Well, do you know, sometimes I often find that a slower car is more fun to drive. I won't say fast, but rapidly. You can have a lot more. Yeah, you can have a lot more fun with it, can't you?
Feel like you're bringing it out a bit.
Well, you have to carry the corners a little bit quicker, don't you? Just to keep the momentum going.
No, I'd definitely own one of those, and
even if it was for 6 months or a year, I think having one of them just to have that, you know, the ownership experience for a little bit.
So to do the old YouTuber thing, and this is done an awful lot. I think that what's it called, Alex, the guy that's got his own channel now.
Oh yeah. Motor
thingy. Alex Kirsten.
Yep.
He's doing the trade up thing. I think at the moment you just can go from 5 to 50,000.
The Porsche, don't they?
Yeah. So do you think it's doable if we pick the right one that's, you know, that someone's wanting to get rid of, maybe on a cheap basis? Make sure it's in good condition to sell it.
You need to find one that's worth a little bit more. You know, it's like get a bad example of one, but not too bad that it's going to be.
Or just someone that's selling it and they need to get rid of it quick. Sometimes you can win on that.
Someone's got in prison.
You know, you occasionally get that, don't you?
I do. There's a couple of guys I watch on YouTube who have their own car companies, buying and selling, and they do various little documentaries on stuff they've bought. And a lot of them will see a car up for 16, and they'll ring up and go, "Oh, hi, yeah, I've seen your car, blah blah blah. I own a car dealer company. I really like it. You know, obviously go over the problems with it. They've done a pre-check on it already. I can come and get it today at 13." And some people just go...
When someone hears that, I'll get it today.
Yeah. And people just go, yeah, all right, yeah. I suppose if like us, you know, you end up favouriting your ones, don't you? And if it's not gone within a couple of weeks, I like people being, you know, lowballed with 10 grand with some stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and I think if you look at We Buy Any Car as well, that's what the worst they're going to get.
True.
But saying that, the We Buy Any Car will knock you down, won't they, as well?
Yeah.
But so it's a guide price.
Do you think there is a trade-up possibility, a capability on the EV market?
Up to a Taycan.
No, I mean, what would you do if we went from 4.5 to 5.5? Because that's going to be the only thing you do. What would you? I guess you're just doing Zoes up to 8 or 9 grand.
Well, you're probably doing Zoes and Leafs, aren't you? Before you can, what's in between there? You're probably talking to me, aren't you? Or you get an i3.
You'd have to jump up.
I think an i3.
So you won't be trading up because you're going to have to add.
No, you're going to have to add a little bit of your own money. But I think you could go to an i3 then. I mean, I guess the next thing is you buy from auction.
Which now most people are traded, don't you?
Yeah. So if anybody out there is a trader and would like to buy a car on our behalf, then please get in touch.
I do know somebody who was an EV trader, but for some reason he blocked me last year on YouTube, on Twitter. I have no idea why.
Yeah. Interesting.
But even then, I don't know. The trouble with the auctions,
it's throwing the shit through there that you don't. Excuse me. There's stuff through there that you don't. Can't sell on a
exactly. Yeah, I mean, there's a company, it seems, that's selling a lot of these.
Oh yeah.
Power lease, I think they're called on Auto Trader. They seem to get a ton. It's clearly ex-lease cars,
which they've probably got. The thing is with that, and the advantage of that is they've probably made quite a bit of money out of that already. So if they're selling that at what looks like a loss, it's probably not to them.
No, it will be to them. But the prices are very competitive, should we say? But it's an ex-lease. It might not be looked after that well, but I'm not too concerned when you think, look at the price. I mean, the i3S, I've just posted up on Twitter, an i3S 2019, so it's only 4-year-old, bigger battery version, 13.8.
That's a billy bargain.
13.8, that's the i3S, bigger battery version. That was 38.9 grand when it were new.
What was the mileage on that?
Oh, that was 70,000.
Did it have the range extender on it or not?
No.
Right, I'm just trying
to get them anymore.
Figuring out whether it's in the higher tax bracket or anything like that. I
think it's just the mileage.
Wow.
You could get one for about 30,000 miler for like 14.8.
That's still not bad. I mean, the thing is, the mileage wouldn't bother me too much on an electric car.
No.
You've only got problems with suspension and springs, bushes, that sort of stuff. But to be fair, you can have that in a lower mileage car as well as.
I mean, I do see the i3S as a replacement for the Mini in electric world. It'd be persuading the missus, but I'd want that Schnitzer kit I always mention, which is at full retail price anyway, at nearly $3 grand fitted. In fact, I don't even think that's fitted.
We could make a mini series out of this.
Yeah, exactly. But that would, for me, look great. I mean, I've read a few i3.
It lowered slightly as well.
It does, yeah. It
lowers it. Spaces it.
The Schnitzer kit lowers it even more and increases the spacing even more than the i3S does. Yeah. And then the rest is just body kit. But I've read a few people on the I think it was i3 Facebook group.
Yeah.
And a few people said, I went from the i3 to the i3S and it transforms the handling. So
we've not driven one yet, have we?
Not the S, no.
No. We did a lot of miles in the i3.
Literally did the North Coast 500, all the way up to the North Coast 500 and back down again in a day and a half.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I was tired on that day.
That was fun, wasn't it?
We did the North Coast for 16 hours.
And then drove home after.
And then drove straight away, yeah. After about 4 hours sleep.
Yeah, we were taking rest.
Well, we had to charge.
Yeah.
But it just proves, doesn't it? You can't do an electric car on a long journey, apparently, according to certain YouTube channels. And yet we did 1,400 miles in 2 days.
Yeah.
How did we do that in an electric vehicle that does 140 miles?
I think the last part of the video is that the car hasn't let us down, it's us.
Yeah,
the car could keep going.
We were physically exhausted and the car was just carrying on.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But it's the charging network in it, the availability of it that's the problem, not the fact that you can't charge. You can charge now. There's lots of them. There's just a lot of them in use.
Yeah.
But anyway, we don't want to stray off topic.
No.
Used
cars, that's what we need.
So what are the... well, I mean, we're harking back to the video I did recently.
Should we do the biggest one for me? Well, the one that's lost the most and is become reasonable bargain. I don't think it was a particularly brilliant car, but it became a reasonable bargain.
The e-tron?
Yeah.
Audi e-tron, yeah. I mean, I think I was 60 odd starting.
Yeah.
So even if it's a relatively base model, it's got I think a 70, 80 kilowatt.
It's a decent battery, yeah.
And the interior is high-end Audi.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like an A3 or something. It's a good, 30, 35 grand to start in.
Just, I mean, the thing is as well,
3-4-year-old.
I think they're gonna come down quite a bit more as well. I suspect we'll see them in the mid-20s. Not in the not so distant future. There's going to be a lot of them with high miles that could be in company cars, I bet.
Yeah, and a lot of them were leased.
Yeah,
through the NHS.
Oh God. During COVID times, they're going to be like biohazards.
But they were, weren't they? That's why you go to hospital near here. There's loads of Audi e-trons there because you got cheap leases, didn't you, on NHS? But yeah, I'm thinking the e-tron, the Model 3, realistically, when you're looking at 25-6 grand for a 3-year-old one, that's a good price, isn't it? For the network, for what you get, car, the package.
It is.
But the Model Y as well is going to be another.
I wonder if we're going to see that. I mean, we've already seen... I mean, the thing is that what dictates the price of the second-hand Teslas is the cost of the new ones. And the new ones at the moment, there's some bargains to be had.
That one we sent, was it a few days ago? A Model 3, brand new, inventory stock, so not pre-registered, 38 grand.
Does that mean that car sales are slowing? That they've just produced too many, expecting it to be slightly higher than what it was?
That's been ordered and cancelled, I'm guessing.
Because when you did order the car, you got offered X amount for
Maybe. I mean, whatever reason, they obviously don't want to keep, because don't they have to register it after a certain amount of time?
By law.
Yeah, the trader does. So then it becomes pre-registered and they'll lose another few grand on it.
Yeah.
But 38 grand is cheaper than the original launch price of 38.5, and it was 2.5 grand less than what I paid 3 and a bit years ago.
I mean, it's
brand new.
Yeah.
And that was just the standard range Model 3, of course. But I'm thinking, when the Model Y, because a lot of people have bought the Y.
I mean, every other car is a Model Y, isn't it?
When that's, 2 years from now, when they've been out 2 or 3 years,
I wonder what
they're going to be a bargain, I think, on the used market. Yeah. Because there's so many of them.
This is what it needs, though, isn't it? I think people have sort of got into their heads that they're going to buy an electric car and sell it for the same price 3 years later. And I think people have been spoiled, haven't they, with that?
It's gone.
Yeah. I methink let's get EVs out. If you can afford a new one, brilliant. If you can't, then let's wait for the prices to come down to, affordability. And
cheap finance that we've had for 15, 20 years has finally gone.
Oh, literally, you've gone past car dealerships where they've, no matter what your credit rating is, we'll get you some finance.
Yeah, 200 quid a month gets you into a Golf.
Yeah, I think
a brand new Golf or a
Golf R's. You just pay a lease one for a couple of £200
£200 a month for a Golf R lease.
Yeah.
I mean, that's obscene. And I know why they had to get rid of it and churn out. It's not just a good bargain, but
I can't imagine there's going to be much of that.
Yeah, I haven't looked for a while, but it's probably good 6, 7, 8 months since I last did. But the same financial condition, same deposit, same term for a Model 3, and it's about £180 a month more than I were paying, just because of the interest rate.
Well,
and the balloon, I guess, has changed as well.
I was in summer when I bought a different car. I was looking at buying a new one, and I thought, I'll been on the Hyundai day, so I said how much an i20 yen is, and it was that no matter what I put down as a deposit, up to the reasonable amount, I think it was £6,500 deposit. I was still paying £4,500 a month.
That's an i20.
Yeah, that's over 3 years. I was like, nah, forget that. I'm not. It's not worth that.
Have you noticed a lot of finance offers?
Yeah.
And now for 4 years.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh.
We're getting bored after a couple of years.
Well, not that, but most warranties are 3.
3 years, yeah. So you got your car a year out of warranty then.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be so bad if it extended your warranty by a year.
Yeah. No, but I think it's a different landscape.
The honeymoon period for this.
We've been spoilt with cheap
it's
interest rates
like
for years.
when we've left Brexit.
Let's not get too political now. But yeah, it's like so much changed, isn't it? Yeah. But ultimately, I think we've had all this cheap stuff, and I mean, there was a guy on Radio 4, Iceland he was from.
You can never say Radio 4. It always sounds like
Radio 4. It was Iceland he was from. He was the CEO or manager or whatever it is, and I think he's going into politics. But ultimately, he said, this is about a year ago. He said, our like milk and bread and all the basics it's the same price now than it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Zero inflation on food, most food, work for 20 years.
Yeah.
Now we're seeing a rise, and people aren't used to it.
Yeah.
Your wages going up bit by bit, just maybe because you're getting older, as it does naturally, but food's been the same, so people have more disposable income. And now electricity, mortgage rates, all that's gone up, and everyone's panicking, which for rightly so. It's bad, but
the thing is when you take a mortgage out, obviously it's stress tested, isn't it? And your credit checked, but it isn't stress tested against everything else going up as well, is it?
No,
it's stress tested against a worst case scenario, but that doesn't include your food going up by 40%, your electric going up by 100%.
Well, we got our first house in 2007, I think, and I remember my mum saying, it's different now because it won't be possible. Mum saying, "Can you afford that as well? Can you afford to pay your mortgage on one wage just in case one of you loses your job?" Yeah. That was the metric of the first one. Trouble is now you have to have 2 wages to afford most mortgages.
Yeah. Well, you couldn't. Yeah. I couldn't buy my house again if you just no, not a chance.
And I don't know how. Like Alice, and is he going to do in 10 years from now? However,
they'll be waiting for us to die.
the only way into a house ultimately is,
if you're lucky,
bank of mum and dad. Yeah, that's the only real way.
Or you land a really good job.
Yeah, but even then, the deposit will take you years.
I think this is it, isn't it? I don't think in terms of what everything else costs, that your wage in this country matches the price of everything else.
Not really. And cars especially. Yeah. Let's come back around to cars.
Well, yeah.
We're going off on one as we always do. But that's the podcast.
That's the podcast we can do. This is all that gets cut out normally.
Yeah. But no, I think let's go back to used cars then.
Yeah.
Because they are way more affordable. Let's face it, I'm not buying a new Tesla Model 3, Model Y, whatever, because I can't afford it. Or even if I could, I wouldn't pay that much.
Yeah.
And the monthlies, again, it's unaffordable. So ultimately, I'm looking at the used market and I'm going, wow, I can get a lot of metal comparatively to what it's been. We'll go back to the highlights. The cheap Zoe at $4,000 to $5,000.
That's a bargain.
The batteries were going for $5,000 6 months ago by themselves.
Yeah.
You've got then a bit of a jump up to about $7,000 for the £7,000 for the 40 kilowatt hour version of the Zoe.
That's a bargain as well, isn't it? That's. I mean, the thing is, when buying a Zoe
with the battery lease,
we had a conversation, didn't we? Says, do we go for that one?
Well, that's the thing. You think, well,
it's more usable.
If I'm spending
it's not 10
$5,000
years old. It's not.
No. I think maybe that's the interim.
Maybe that's what you go up to afterwards. You go to the 7 and then do the comparison.
But that is very usable in terms of the range. Yeah. My brother had one. He loved it. And the range...
Was it to 40?
You would get 200 miles in summer, sorry.
Yeah.
And probably 140, I think, 130, 40 in winter.
That's just, I mean...
For £7,000, granted with a battery lease.
Yeah.
But even then...
You're not going to get...
Not bad at all, is it? So the next one up to that will say at me, we've already mentioned, about 11 to 12 grand. For a 2-year-old car. Then for me, it's the i3. Well, the i3S. Yeah. We're not even mentioning the i3s that you can get for 10 grand now.
I mean, that's You get an E or do you get an i3? Trouble is, 2 good cars there. You couldn't get an i3 and then get an i3S. You'd have to go for the
same car.
Yeah.
And trouble is, I think I'd want the bigger battery version because that is something that I would get away with in terms of range with Lorna.
You could keep that and get rid of the
Mini in theory, yeah. So, yeah, the i3, I've seen them for less than 10 grand now. The smaller battery versions.
Yeah, they're nippy, aren't they? I mean, it's
the same motor as far as I understand it.
Yeah.
Carbon fibre tube. Yeah. Still looks as fresh as it did when it came out.
Suicide doors,
yeah. And just general BMW sort of build quality.
Yeah.
It does make a difference, doesn't it? It really does. So that's a Billy bargain. Where did we go after that one? There was the Citroen EC4. They're about,
they're not even that old.
No. Again, 2-year-old cars for 15, 16 grand. And super comfortable. And recently voted the most satisfying car to own, according to, I think, was it What Car or some magazine where they surveyed owners.
Yeah.
So that's not the magazine saying it, it's the owners. All cars saying that's the most satisfying.
I hadn't seen any on the road, but since we did our video, I've seen loads.
I mean,
and every time I go past them, I start going.
For anybody who hasn't seen our EC4X video, sorry, I have to do the X with my arms crossing.
Yep.
We went down a local cobbled road, didn't we?
I mean, this road is.
It's renowned around.
I wouldn't take any car down there.
Oh God, no.
Apart from one that got lent to us.
But I've been down there in various cars in there over the years.
I mean, 4x4s usually.
Yeah, and ultimately it's where you have to slow down, like going over a cattle grid.
Yeah.
You have to slow down.
It's a cobbled road that's properly messed up.
And it's uneven as well, isn't it? So it's the worst. It's like a test road.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
We went over that in the C4, and it was like going over rumble strips.
Yeah.
So you were sat there going, "Well, I'm not
looking for roundabout coming up."
Yeah, I'm not feeling it. I could just hear it.
Yeah.
And that it's like, how have they done this?
I don't know how they've done that.
I don't know. They've got the pneumatic
bump stops or something.
Yeah. It's not the full suspension, but that alone makes it unique enough for me to like it.
Yeah.
And then when you factor in the cheapness over its other Stellantis clones,
and just for perfect size, it was just a nice car.
What else was there? I'll get my phone out because I've got the.
You got the list on there?
Ooh, probably not. No, but I can skim through the video.
You can.
But no, the
was it Nero? The Hyundai,
yeah. The
Kona. Yeah, the Kona's a Billy bargain, isn't it? When you look at that,
I mean, they are
250 miles,
probably more.
If you're driving it around town. Yeah.
I mean, granted, this had 70,000 miles on it, but it was a £17,000 Kia Soul First Edition 2020
with the
bigger battery. With basically the sound system, stereo with wheels.
Yeah,
and I'm like, that's a 270.
You're like going banking app.
Yeah. I know people said I get 280 miles on motorway runs in that thing.
When we did the North Coast,
in that,
yeah, we were getting serious mileage in that, weren't we?
I think we ragged it around the North Coast and didn't get below 4 miles per kilowatt hour.
Yeah.
Driving normally got above 5.
Yeah,
and I know it wasn't in the middle of winter or anything.
No. That's still more than I expected.
It would outperform my Model 3 by about 50 to 60 miles.
Wow.
And I know it's got a slightly bigger battery, but it's 17 grand.
Yeah.
Well, this particular version was. 70,000 miles is a lot.
But
it looks good. It's got the 7-year warranty.
Yeah.
100,000 mile, I think it is, on the whole car, not just the battery. So the whole thing's covered.
Yeah, I think that's a...
You don't have any worries.
No.
And you're looking at
the
20
best sound
grand
system I think I've ever heard in the car.
Outside of Genesis.
Yeah, outside of Genesis.
Interestingly enough, though, the Genesis, because I did think, I wonder if the GV60s
I bet they've gone up in price.
There's one on sale.
Yeah, there's not selling enough. The thing is as well, it's like with the you see a big drop in electric car prices. Normal cars, you say petrols and diesels, a lot of them have gone up in value.
Well,
it does seem really
your car that you sold recently has gone up apparently, hasn't it?
It got by a couple of grand. It seems just very random in what it's doing.
I'm just going through my phone now.
Yeah.
Well, so everyone can see how podcasts work on the camera. So if you're watching this on YouTube,
oh my God, it's you sat in a chair.
Nissan Leaf, as in the 40 kilowatt hour version, 11 grand.
Wow, I remember it's come down a little bit since then.
Maybe, but although I wouldn't want one because I've had one.
You get the Zoe. Just deal with it being a bit smaller.
So that's £12,000 for the Seat Me.
Yeah.
And this was done probably a month ago. Yeah. Now they're about 11,600.
Yeah.
For the cheapest one.
Yeah, it's coming down.
It's clearly, but in my head, I'm like, they can't possibly go down any more.
I just don't think people aren't buying them as much.
Well, look at the mortgage. Everyone's kicking off on news, rightly so, about the mortgage rates going up again.
Yeah.
And basically, everybody's not going to be able to afford the mortgage. Yeah. So I guess the first thing that goes is the second car, and then you get a cheaper car for what you used to. Because there's a lot of people coming out of leases, PCPs,
just
with a Golf or whatever, going, I can't afford that car again.
Just get it run around.
Just because the interest rates have gone up and my income has gone down again. We've got, this is, I'll see if I can find the price actually. The e-Golf.
Oh yeah, I'd forgotten about that.
Let's see if I can find it.
And that's
it's a Golf.
Yeah. It's a Golf that's electric.
So for £13,000, you're getting a 2018 e-Golf. I mean, I know it only does 115, 20 miles. It's a Golf.
Yeah, it's a Golf, yeah.
And the interior is nice. It's just
a Golf, isn't it? You're getting it, and it's just a Golf.
And a 13 grand 5-year-old Golf, probably not miles away from the petrol equivalent. So quite well spec'd.
Yeah.
So then there's the Corsa E. I'm not really.
We're getting up to the You're
looking at 14 in a bit there. i3S, of course. See,
the i3S does seem to be a bit of a bargain, doesn't it? Really.
The i3S I posted up. Granted, they are a bit newer. They were 16 grand.
Yeah, so they've come down.
But I did pick a few lower mileage ones, to be fair, rather than just the cheapest.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it's not Mini 16.8, so that's probably about 16 and a half now, maybe-ish. Electric Mini, of course. And I'm like,
Well, I think the thing is with the Minis as well, they've sold an awful lot of them, so that's going to
they have sold a lot.
That's going to bring the value down, isn't it?
Here we go. The Kona, £19,000, probably 18 and a half now for I think it's called Premium, which is the top spec, 2018, 2019 versions.
That's nice.
And they come with a 5-year warranty. So they're still under warranty as well. And again, we'll do the 250, 60 mile. It's a proper long-range EV by today's standards.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
It's, I would say, compact family car. It's not maybe quite enough for the family if you've got like young kids. But that as a second vehicle, I mean, all right, 19 grand's a lot of a second vehicle, isn't it?
Well, yeah, as your primary.
Oh, yeah, that would be. When I say second car, I mean another car in the house.
Yeah, I mean, that's more than... the range on that's more than acceptable.
Yeah. Well, it'd go anyway. Let's face it, you would be able to drive...
until your bladder full and you had to stop anyway.
You'd be able to drive pretty much anywhere, wouldn't you, with one stop?
Easily, yeah, in the country, yeah.
I mean, London to Edinburgh's, I think, 420 miles or something.
Just stop a little bit.
That's an easy one-stop journey with miles to spare.
Yeah.
The only downside is, I guess, you won't have the supercharger network to use.
You won't, no.
But look at the price you're paying.
I think, it's a nice car as well.
See, for me, that would probably be a bit of a waste because if I'm going to go on a long journey, I want the supercharger network. I'm going to take the Tesla. So why get a big battery version? As another car?
I think getting the i3S is probably going to be the best thing to replace them anyway because you've gone from something that's hot hatchy to something that's hot hatchy.
Body kit looks
amazing,
brilliant, lower, wider, aggressive. It's got the performance to match the looks.
I think it still looks contemporary now.
It looks a new car.
Yeah.
Consider it came out in 2014.
Yeah.
It's 9 years old.
You change the plates on it or something like that and nobody's going to know.
Yeah, Y8 EVM.
Yeah.
That's available.
And those will buy it.
We're talking about used cars.
Mm-hmm.
I think I sent you the picture.
Oh, yeah. The Rolls Royce.
It was, the Spectre, which is the first full electric Rolls Royce. It literally must have just come out unless it's a Rolls Royce person trying it, taken out, but it wasn't camouflaged, so I think someone's bought it, and the number plate said EVM on it. It wasn't a private; it was just
electric van man,
which does exist, doesn't it? So no, I'm quite excited for the used market because that's the entry level.
Yeah,
for an electric, for any car.
Yeah, well, now it was taking its time, but now that the used market is has dropped so much that it is I'll say it's affordable, but it's obviously people are going to go,
relatively,
$4 grand's not affordable to me, but it's more affordable than it ever has been.
Yeah.
And hopefully the cars, which we should find out soon, the cars at that price bracket are still reliable and can still do a decent amount of range. Would
you like to see this on the channel for those that are watching this on YouTube, which is everybody, because I'm not putting it up on the other stuff anymore.
Why bother anymore?
But ultimately, would you want to see that? Buy a 9-10-year-old Zoe, whatever it is, see what it's like, and then maybe let's trade up to something.
Yeah, I think we could do a mini series. I think people would like to know how far it's going to go.
We can get feedback now. We're on YouTube.
We can, yeah. What would you like to see us do with the car?
Now you're looking at the camera. For anyone listening to this, we're looking at the camera, going, "What would you like to do?" He's not asking me.
This is difficult. Yeah. The audience, what would you like us to do? Would you
I think so.
Maybe how far can we go? It's probably got to be the best one, is it?
It's not the
How
first
long
time
it
it's been
takes
done.
to recharge, the battery condition.
Yeah,
I guess as well, maybe taking it to somewhere, a specialist, and have them go around the car and see what's wrong with it, and then us pretending that we fixed them.
Well, the thing is, a couple of channels have done this. I think the one that sticks in my head was the Auto Express, I think it is, with him that used to be on Fully Charged briefly. Rory
was on
he was on Top Gear,
as well, wasn't he?
And basically, they bought the cheapest electric car, which was a Leaf, and the battery did 30 miles or something.
Yeah.
But you've bought the cheapest knackered car.
Yeah.
A diesel car, you buy the cheapest one, it won't work.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about the cheapest car.
No.
We're talking about the cheapest car that works.
Yeah.
That's not been ragged around. That's been looked
Well,
after.
we're going to look at. I think it'd be
cheapest usable car.
One of those things where it's going to be like, what can you get for £4,000 or for £4,500?
Yeah.
And we find the best one available at that. We're not going to go out there and buy one at £2,000, which is a non-runner.
Yeah.
It's just pointless.
Because
who
does that?
We've not got the time to look into it. We're not
All the skill set.
Well, we don't have. It
wouldn't prove anything.
It's a dead end.
You can't repair them like you can.
No, I think get a good one. Maybe if it's a bit a bit tatchy around the edges, we can do that. We can sort that, and then we document it and drive it a little bit.
And anybody that's buying it will know full well what state the car's in, because we'll have just documented it, like you say. So if its range isn't great, you'd know it before you bought it. If it was good, then
the thing is, if we get it and the range, after we've bought it and the range isn't good, then we go through the process of fixing that. Get somebody involved, going. There's bound to be people out there that do fix these problems, see if they can help us.
Or if it's under lease, ring Renault up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and get them to do it.
But I bet that will be easy. I'll prove in that one. Oh no! We've just done the battery update and now it's at 95%
again.
Hang on a minute.
I get 20 miles.
But no, I think that's worth doing. And then maybe moving on to something else. Who knows whether? But in my head, are we at the bottom of the pricing now? Has it got anywhere further down to go across the board, not just with a Zoe or anything?
I think, yeah. There's certain cars I can see that are going to drop a lot more, like the e-tron.
Oh yeah.
It's the cars. Typically, cars like that do drop a lot. In terms of other vehicles, I think the closer you get to the bottom end, the less movement you're going to get. Like with anything.
Well, let's say at me, can that go any cheaper?
I think
is it because people look at it as a small car?
I think
it's an electric one, which is putting people off at the moment because of the price of rapid charging and things.
Well, there's a lot of things, isn't there? I think just the cost of living is putting people off.
That too.
The fact that you can't get finance anymore is putting people off. There's lots of things to put people off at the moment. So I think that's going to keep the prices low. If lots of people have a lot of spare money or can easily get finance, then prices will go up again.
So what we need to do then maybe is find someone who's selling one privately, because not many people will sell a car privately these days. Because you can't offer finance.
We found, wasn't there?
Well, there's one that's
not
as
too
far as
far.
I know. Shall I check? See if it's still for sale. Near us as well.
That was battery owned as well.
Battery owned. And if it is still for sale, then it's been up a couple of weeks, is it?
Worth a look, isn't it? Yeah, I think that's the thing though. I think the majority of people are going to find it difficult to sell something like that at this time.
Oh no, that's Dewsbury. That's been a while.
It was when I checked last night or night before. It was still on.
Yep.
Yeah, it's still there. Yeah.
Battery owned by seller. So it's only in Harrogate.
Yeah.
So Fully Charged Live was. So I'm like, ooh, well, maybe.
And just worth a look.
Pat me, think, no, I ain't got the money yet.
Yeah.
Don't ring the guy up or girl until you got the money.
Until you've got the money, you can go look at it and be in a position to buy it.
I think it's worth doing though, because content on car YouTube channels, predominantly the ones I watch anyway, they're doing something up, they're buying something and selling something. Yeah. They're trying to do what people do, but more regularly. So you have to, but you can't do an electric car up yet. They're not out long enough. There's no spare parts.
I think the thing is that you have the. We can hopefully myth bust with it, can't we? With it as well.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a nice
or confirm them.
I'll confirm them. Yeah. So either you're going to end up with something parked on your drive for the next 10 years that you can't sell.
But that's my only worry, I suppose. If you sell a car privately, the person essentially needs the money in the bank, and at the moment that has got to be quite rare.
Yeah.
So
might be a bit.
When you're looking at, say, at Me's and BMW i3s, seem to be quite a few people selling them privately.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, like you say, ring them up and they go, if it's been on for 3 or 4 weeks and they're getting fed up with it, or the new car's arriving, sometimes that forces it. Right, I'll offer you this because I can come up today and give you it. And it works. Well, it's a tactic, but it's a tactic that works. They don't have to go for it. Watch this space. This might go on for
ever.
One car or forever. But it's quite interesting to look what's out there, because the stuff we tested starting out on YouTube is now on this used market. Yeah. So it's quite funny that we're coming full circle. So, I remember testing this.
Could own that now.
The Kia Niro was the first car we ever press car that we ever reviewed. Yeah. I think the first car I ever reviewed.
And
was
where we take that?
Scotland.
Yeah, 2, right?
Basically, every time we got a car, we went to Scotland. Did the North Coast. But yeah, I mean, the Niro, let's mention that again, the first edition.
Yeah.
2019.
That's a fantastic car.
They're going for about 20 grand now.
Yeah.
As in for like a 40,000 miler.
Fantastic car.
Fully loaded. Bigger battery, same as the Kona, essentially.
Really nice interior. I just remember it being a nice place to be.
It handled a lot better than the Kona.
Different chassis.
I believe the Kona is based on the Ioniq chassis rather than the Niro is based on another one.
No, is it the Niro's based on the Ioniq chassis and the...
The Soul and the Kona have the same chassis. But the
yeah.
Niro's got a slightly different
which we drove it, we're like...
Which explains why it handles better, I think. Yeah. And it's a bigger car, but it's got the same battery and drivetrain, essentially. So that, I mean, and I'd go for the Niro, which is a grand or two more expensive.
Over the Soul.
Because, I don't know, I like the Soul. There's a second car. But you get a 7-year warranty with Kia. You want to get 5
that, yeah.
And that 7-year warranty on a 4-year-old car is the same length warranty, 3 years left, as a Golf that's brand new or other cars. Yeah. So yeah, it's an interesting time, and I think there's a lot of people out there that might dip their toes in, but they're just they're going to drop. I think a lot of people say I'm going to wait until it hits the bottom.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I can't see them going back up again just because of the way that the economy is at the moment.
Yeah, I thought, well, this is normal depreciation. It's not low. It's normal.
You know, I think the thing of the chip shortage and all that stuff that seems to have all
disappeared, isn't it? Settled
itself out. Everyone's used to the fact that now there's a war in Ukraine. That's not being blamed for anything.
Well, they've got around it, haven't they? The manufacturers.
Yeah.
I wonder what the Taycan's doing now, because that had like a year and a half waiting time on. So if they've still got a waiting list,
you don't see many of them around, do you? I guess if Porsche can keep the supply limited, then the price will be high.
The price will be artificially high, right? So let's see what the cheapest Taycan is. I'm doing it right now. I think the start was it. Well, let's face it, 80. You're going to spec it. Yeah. The cheapest one is the 4S.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the first one that came out now. Just under £60,000 pounds. 2020, 25,000 miles.
Wow, so that's 3-year-old.
Yeah, it's been out longer than you think, isn't it?
So that's that warranty.
I don't know what the Porsche's coming now. I mean, the battery will be in warranty.
Yeah, but I think it's 3 years, isn't it? It's Volkswagen, it's minimum.
70 reg, Bose heated seats, sat nav, that's 63.5 with a 93.4 kilowatt battery.
Wow.
And they're nice, are they?
I mean, to be fair,
£23,000 worth of options on that. Performance plus £64,000. I mean, it's out of my league.
They've dropped a little bit more than I thought.
Yeah, it was 70 grand a few months ago when I last looked.
It's not been facelifted, has it?
Nope.
So you're buying...
the only thing that's come out, I guess, is the Cross Turismo, is it?
Yeah.
Is it the Cross Turismo? The estate.
Gran Turismo? I don't know.
I want to say Cross Turismo. The Porsche Taycan estate, that's what we'll say.
Wagon.
I mean, that's obviously not going to be on the channel. Can't afford anything like that. But there is a lot out there. I mean, remember, I sent you a few things, didn't I, when I was doing the Auto Trader thing. Does anybody else do that in the comments? Where you look at Auto Trader, like, because when you're bored, and think, what can I? What if I were buying a car now? What would I buy?
To go for? Yeah.
And then you think,
Z4,
that one. Yeah. And then you constantly look at cars that you can't afford, or you just impractical.
And you send that to your friends, going, "Look how cheap this is." And they can't afford it either.
Here we go, here's a few highlights for you. Hold the phone. £31,000 for a 2021 Mustang Mach-E.
Still wouldn't have one.
31 though. It's not bad, is it? But no, I won't have
I think that's another one. I think that's going to absolutely bomb.
There's the Niro, 17 grand. So that's a Kia Niro. It's just got 60, 70,000 miles on it.
That wouldn't bother me.
And the Soul, 17.7.
You know what? I would struggle. I think I'd go for the Niro.
I prefer the look of the Soul, and the stereo would, if I had it with the Tesla, I would go for the Soul.
Yeah.
But it's a bit much to have as a second car. As an owner car, go for the Nero.
Yeah.
Now, this is tempting. It's 2021, so again, it's only 2-year-old. Premium version, 73 kilowatt-hour battery for £30,000. It's the Hyundai Ioniq 5.
Wow. Really?
Yep. I sent it to you. You've already seen it.
I know, but it just...
Were you auto trader in it yourself?
No, it's just toilet flicking. There you go. Oh, right,
so I'm sending you messages when you're not toilet.
Yeah.
30 grand though for Ioniq 5.
Cheap.
It's done 15,000 miles in 2 years, so it's not exactly high.
Not catted.
No. There's quite a few at that price.
Wow, I think they're gonna
£30,000.
Another one to keep an eye on. They're probably
gonna, isn't it?
Yeah, they're probably gonna bomb.
Oh, what about this one then? This has done 69,000 miles, but it is a 2018, so 5-year-old.
Yep.
90 kilowatt-hour battery, 4-wheel drive, 400 brake horsepower, really nice interior, £24,000, Jaguar I-Pace.
It would just break down, would it though? And then the myth is, isn't it, that they're just going to break down all the time?
They have had issues with them. I know they have.
Electrical gremlins.
The I-Pace, yeah. But you think, well, this one's 69,000 miles. Surely everything's fixed by now.
Yeah, that's what you think. I know.
But 24 grand.
When
you think of the spec of the car.
Yeah. They do look nice as well.
Fiat 500 electric now.
Oh, yeah. This is one you sent me the other day. I just Billy Bargain in May.
£16,644. Yep. This is for the red version, which I think is a special edition. The bigger battery version, 42 kilowatt hour. It's a 2022 car.
It's a year old.
It's a year old, and it's call it £16,500.
Wow.
Or if you want a 2-year-old one, 15.5. I think I'd pay the extra and get
a new one. It's limited edition as well.
And that's the bigger battery version.
Yeah, that's just...
And I'm like, that was great fun, wasn't it? Again, we drove it around Scotland.
Really enjoyed that. It handled surprisingly well.
A good second car.
Yeah.
Or a partner car, whatever you call it. Should we tell the people where we're going in a few weeks? Related to that.
We can do.
Well, it's not a secret, really.
Right, so nicely brought in.
It was a good segue, that, wasn't it? Effectively, in a few weeks, we're going down to somewhere down
south,
which it always is, for the Abarth electric. So the Fiat 500 electric Abarth version.
Yeah.
Which should be interesting. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm excited to see that.
That is probably a bit expensive, though, but I bet that's going to...
Have we got a price yet on that?
Yeah, let me get it, just so I don't get it wrong. But I wonder if they're going to limit amount so it doesn't drop like the Fiat 500 electric does.
Yeah, I wonder.
It's going to cost from £34,000.
I don't think that's too bad given what you're getting.
That's a 42 kilowatt hour battery, I think. I imagine. I don't know. Did they do it in a smaller battery?
I wouldn't imagine they would. No.
They haven't done the full specs yet, so we don't know for certain. But ultimately, given that everything's over 30 grand now almost, apart from the MG4 and the new BYD Dolphin, which is 4.5 grand.
That's cheap.
But anyway, that's designed as a hot hatch from the ground up.
I think that's going to be a fantastic car.
They're saying it's quicker around the track than the petrol Abarth,
but not the
695, the 595. Yeah. So it's going to be the instant torque that's going to do that, isn't it?
I think so. And the thing is, when we had the...
it's the same car as the original.
When we had the up clone, that was the same, wasn't it?
City.
Yeah. As soon as you got out... The thing is for that is you got out of a corner and you were just on it.
Yeah. You can never get it wrong either.
No.
You can't miss a gear, can you, when you haven't got any gears? So, no, I think there's light at the end of the EV tunnel because we're getting a normalised used market, which is how people get into
it.
Yeah, and quite frankly, I think it's because we've had so many people for years, us included, have got cheap PCP deals. We've been doing a 3-year brand new car thing for so long. People are used to being able to buy a brand new car.
As well, what we haven't covered is cars have just got more expensive.
Oh, God, yeah.
A hell of a lot more expensive.
19.5 grand for a Fiesta base now.
Wow. It's nearly 20 grand for a Fiesta.
And that's the cheapest Fiesta.
I'm thinking Golf GTI for that sort of money.
They are now...
Oh, nearly 40.
Yeah.
Because if you add... Because they come with option packs, don't they? And a lot of people saying now, if you add 2 option packs to it, it takes you over 40 grand, which is for the luxury car. Yeah. Wow. So if you look on the second-hand market, most of them have just got 1 pack applied because they ain't going to play the extra tax for it.
The Golf, standard Golf now starts at, I think, £25,500, £26,000 for the cheapest Golf you can find.
Wow.
And people think electric cars are expensive. They are, but not that much more when you look at how much a normal car costs. I mean, a Dacia Sandero I think is like 13, 14 grand now.
I know one car. I won a series of cars we've missed off of the list. Yeah, electric, yeah. And they were incredibly expensive for what they were.
I'm going to guess. Go on. Honda E.
No. I think that's going to keep the value because it's...
Oh, I don't know. Well, I'll check it.
Check it now. The ID range.
Oh, you know what? I haven't looked at that.
I think the ID range...
People think we hate the ID, don't they? ID3. We don't. It was
just the Born's better.
Well, much better. But the ID3 is a good, large, practical family car. It's just the one we got on the test was nearly 40 grand and the interior was not a £40,000 interior. We've said this time and time again.
It's just a bit... Once you get inside it, it's dull.
Volkswagen have apologised for it. I think today they said the next one that come out, we're going to address all the interior comments. But the entire industry said, not just us.
It's like almost like when they were making the ID3, is that they found a container full of Skoda seats from like 1999.
Do you know what they did? They did a Microsoft.
Yeah.
Microsoft panicked at the iPad, so brought out Windows 8.
Yeah.
I think Volkswagen looked, because bear in mind it was designed a few years before it comes out, they looked at the Tesla, one massive screen in a car, that's all people want now.
Yeah.
And that's what they're trying to emulate.
It didn't work. Let's take the buttons off the steering wheel. No, please don't.
Well, that's Tesla's thing.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, you don't get a Tesla. But ultimately, you've emulated something which isn't nice.
You're copying.
Here we go then. ID3. Now, this is this is the smallest battery version. So, here we go. 58 kilowatt hour.
Yep.
So I think they are doing a bigger one now. So, right. This is the ID3 Pro Performance, 58 kilowatt hour Life. So I think they had like 12 different versions of one.
Okay.
It's a 2020 70 reg, so that would be nearly 3.
Nearly 3, let's call it 3.
It's on 37,000 miles. So that's not too bad, I suppose, by averaging, isn't it? 18 and a half.
That's not bad. Still a bit of warranty probably left on that. But considering what that'll probably cost new, it's dropped an awful lot.
18 and a half grand for an ID3.
What we're saying that was when it was new?
Not bad at all, really. Really spacious. New.
Mid-30s?
When they first came out, they couldn't get rid of them quick enough, so you could buy them for about 23 grand. But then they went up to 30s and that, didn't they?
So I don't think that's too bad given...
Yeah, so you're looking at 18 and a half upwards. 2021, 19 grand.
Wow.
26,000 miles.
I think watch this space. I think they're going to come down. The ID4 as well, just because it's a much bigger car. And the 5 is so expensive to start with.
I don't see the point of the 5. Here we go. Right, so Honda E.
I think we're going to be still...
A car which some people don't get.
Oh, I love it. I'd have one just as a... Just to look at it.
I mean, Honda, I've seen a few reviews. There's one called E for Electric. It's an American channel. And he said, oh, look, fully charged, getting all the cars because they say everything's great.
Yeah.
And they showed the Honda E. And, Honda E is brilliant. And they went, it's awful car. Look at the range, it's terrible. It's like, hang on a minute.
You look at it completely the wrong way.
Honda literally released it saying, this is a city car.
Yeah.
We've deliberately designed it as such.
It's a small little city car.
It's tight. The boot's tiny. The back seat's not very big.
It'll turn on an
halfpenny. It was literally designed not to be an only car in your household. Yeah. And then what do people do when they come and say, this will go up and down the motorway?
Yeah,
they've not designed it for that.
Yeah.
Anyway, right, so what do you think the cheapest one is? So they've been out longer than you think.
I think 26. 25.
Right, so 2020, 3 years old. So has that been 3 years since it will be, because it was just after COVID opened.
Yeah.
Wow. So 2020, it's done 16,000 miles. It's the advanced hatchback. I think that's the highest spec.
That comes with the extra couple of brake horsepower and the bigger wheels.
I think so, yeah. So what did I say? 2020, 16,500 miles. What are you going for? 3 years old.
I'm going to go for mid-20s.
18.2.
Really? Oh, banging.
18,990.
See, last time I looked at them, which admittedly ain't for a while, they were, you could get a new one for literally the same price as a second-hand one.
Yep. 19 grand. And that's private. The 19 grand one's in Bradford. That's at a dealer. 19 grand, 19 and a half. So look, the yellow one for 20 grand, 70 reg, 2,800 miles it's done.
Wow.
And that's that green limey one that I quite like. The cars that...
It'd be nice to own one of them.
Well, this is what I always think. Like all those years ago with the Corrado.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a relative sales flop, and it was too expensive for what people perceived as basically a
everyone
golf.
wanted one.
Well, because it was expensive, not many people bought it, therefore it's rare on the used market, and that makes it sought after.
Yeah.
That's the Honda E.
No, the Honda E is a complete collector's car.
Not big seller.
No, you don't see many around. Well, at least
I've seen one or two driving around on a regular basis. But because you don't see many of them, because they didn't sell many,
it becomes
rare.
Yeah. And
so that will be a future classic.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, I think it will be. There's various Hondas that become the future classic, isn't
and
there?
And if you buy it knowing what it is, a second vehicle in your household, 110, 15 miles is more than enough for a car that's only ever going to do local commuting.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
If you could charge at home.
That's it. Well, if we could get a 10-year-old Zoe and use it for work every day,
they'll do 70 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what's
Be fine with that.
In fact, should we mention that? The finances, we've sort of man-mathsed it, haven't we? You could, in theory, save enough money to pay for that car.
Yeah.
Based on your current car, anyway.
Yeah.
So, what's the basis behind that? How much do you spend on fuel?
Between £50 and £70 a week.
So, all right. And if you got the Zoe, because you can charge at home, so that's a big benefit.
Yeah.
You're on the right tariff.
Yeah, I'll be spending, £4 probably, something like that.
Oh, let's call it a tenner.
Call it a tenner.
So you're saving 50 quid a month? A week.
Yeah, so £200 a month.
£200 a month, even with a battery lease, that's £150 saving.
Yeah.
A month.
Yep.
Which is £1,800 a year.
Yeah.
So in 2 years, you've saved, granted, I guess you'd have insurance on, which is probably cheap.
Peanuts.
So basically, you've saved £3,500 in 2 years. So after 3 years of owning that, you've paid for the car.
Yeah. Well,
and then you've got the car.
Well, the favour is at the moment is that I've got a car I'm doing up, which is almost ready to go. I'm going to have that for a little bit. And you know, when you have something, you need to own a little bit of it and experience it. I'm going to do that for a little bit. And then probably sell it. And when I sell that, it's probably going to be between 5 and 6. And then look at getting
whatever
something electric. That'll be my main car, and my ST
you pile the miles on, won't it?
Yeah, the ST will just be sat there.
And it'll mean your ST is far cheaper to run because you won't be piling miles on it.
And also the tyres are £200 a corner, roughly. It's just little stuff like that.
So maintenance goes down.
Yeah, maintenance goes down. Yeah.
Insurance maybe because you're doing less miles in it.
It might go down a little bit. Yeah. I mean, the insurance on my car that I'm doing up is 5,000 miles a year with 200 and some quid.
So the monthly savings are actually larger because if you're doing, cause you do similar mileage to me, don't you? Like 20,000 a year or something, or 15 to 20.
Yeah.
Because Lorna's using mine.
Even
at 15, but the tyres alone.
Yeah, just
you need a set of 4, and that's going to be 800 quid.
Well, servicing costs.
Well, that too.
You know, is there any point if I get an electric car having it serviced? I take it in every couple of years to get the brake fluid checked, but what honestly, what's the service on it?
It's the MOT.
I just get the MOT. I'm savvy enough to know when the brakes are going on it.
Because you don't stop.
Yeah. Usually
when you run onto the guy in front. No, I think.
So when it starts going on fire, isn't it? That's when.
No, and that's what we've always said, isn't it?
There's no point for me. There's no point servicing a 10-year-old electric car. What they're going to do? They're going to plug it in and go, "That's £100, please," or "That's £120."
Unless there's some brake sort of thing he's doing, which in theory the MOT should pick
fluid.
up on.
Just get the brake fluid checked.
You know, like you say, if you need some brake pads or something.
Yeah.
But that's just a repair. It's not a maintenance.
Well, the thing is, you can just stick your finger into the caliper and feel how much meat you've got left on the pad. Is there a lip on the disc?
They're just kind of pointless in servicing a car that ultimately.
But your Tesla
hasn't. Well, yeah, I haven't serviced. Oh no, I did service it a few months ago purely out of curiosity.
Interest. Yeah.
And Tesla did the servicing. It cost £110, which
and they came back and told you your tyres need replacing soon, which you was aware of.
They didn't actually.
Didn't they? I thought they said they were going to swap the tyres.
No, the part of the service is they replaced the filters, the air filters in the cabin filters. You see, the windscreen wipers.
Yeah.
Check the brake fluid, which I thought it's a 3-year-old. It's done nearly 50,000 miles. Maybe it's a good time to do that. And they rotate the tyres.
Yeah.
Front to back. Which I said don't bother doing because I need some new ones at some point. Anyway. And I think that's it. They presumably plug it in to check as well. But ultimately, for £110, then
stuck of things to do, aren't they? Go, yeah, just rotate the tyres. Why? I don't know. Makes it look like we're doing stuff.
A common thing in America. But the wipers alone would have cost me 40 quid.
Probably.
Myself. You know, how eBay Alpha and something like for Bosch ones. So I'm like, well, I've paid 50, 60 quid for a service. Granted, all they've probably done is essentially change the filter, which is about 20 quid to buy.
Yeah.
And check the brake fluid. But I'm like, that's not bad.
In terms of everything else,
for the main dealer.
Yeah, it's not so good for a main dealer, but I think on a 10-year-old car, just like it needs a pollen filter, right? Euro car parts, that's £12.
Well, there's nothing else to, like you say, I can't think of anything else to change. Because if there's anything,
the MOT will catch things out that we don't know to look at, like bushings and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, I suppose that's the only thing, innit? Are any bushes getting worn?
But again,
it should be a hearing.
And a 10-year-old car, one that's not a performance one, if your bushes are getting worn, is there any point replacing them until it becomes an MOT failure? Unless it's, rattling around.
And I bet they're not too expensive either.
They'll be pennies, won't they?
Well, I guess we'll find out.
Well, guess we will.
So I guess I've said guess 4 times.
Yeah.
Guess. The whole point of this channel, as in the second channel that you're now watching this on, is to do little things like this. So maybe when we're looking for the Zoe, it's like, I'm going to go look at this.
Maybe
when we go and look at it.
Yeah.
Although that'll be on I guess that's a bit of the main video bit, as in the purchasing.
So maybe when we have a look, we film the screen. Have us talking, a little screen of our trailers looking through it.
Because it's extra content. You don't have to watch it.
If you don't like it, don't watch it.
Yeah, I do find that fascinating. And this isn't just my channel, other channels that I watch. And you see in the comments, I don't know why you do this type of video. Can you just stick to your normal one? Just don't watch that one.
Yeah.
It's not difficult. I mean,
yes.
There's loads of adverts in this, as in product placement, as in within them. Just skip it.
I can't believe this one's gone on for half an hour.
yeah. Because the skip button doesn't work. Anyway, I mean the used market we've talked about.
I think if you're thinking
before,
of getting,
right now it's
I would say
would you wait?
I probably wouldn't know. I think the thing is, if you're going to get one now, it's already a bargain in your head because of look at what they were. If you drop a little bit more over time, they drop a little bit more over time.
£100 at most.
I think the thing is, if you're looking around the ID34, the e-tron, I think they're going to drop more.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to wait another year or two. If you're looking at 30 grand for an e-tron now, when it was 60 when it was new, it's a bargain. Just go and buy it and don't. Do you know what? Go and buy one and just stop looking at second-hand car prices for a bit.
Yeah. You know what I'd do actually? If for the same price, I'd probably get the Ioniq 5.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'd do that. Yeah, for 30 grand.
30 grand.
It's probably a similar sort of car inside in terms of size.
Big car.
And does the centre console goes backwards and forwards?
Yes. I mean,
and the seats go flat.
So I reckon in another year's time, the Ioniq 5, and that's the bigger battery version, the premium, will be 25 grand.
I mean, that's going to be difficult to ignore then, isn't it? It's a nice. The thing is, it looks really nice.
It still kept it. Looks. The interior was okay. It was not bad.
It was alright.
It is what it is. But it is a lot of car.
It is a lot of car.
It is a lot of car, and the creams.
I still see one when they go past, and I still admire them. And if I walk past one, I always look at the lights at the back. You just take in the details. Still do that with them.
I wonder what the EV6 is going for.
I think that's going to hold its value better. Just
because it looks a bit more expensive.
Space, like a spaceship.
And you get the 7-year warranty on it as well.
You do. That's going to count for something.
Let's have a look. Kia, and then we'll sign off. So Kia, EV6.
We're doing this so you don't have to.
Yeah, well, this is what we do all the time. It's just that we're in the same room normally. Normally I'd look at go and then screenshot. What's that? You all do it if you're into your cars. Right, EV6, here we go. Sort by cheapest price, please. So it came out a bit later, I think, didn't it? So the newest one is 2022.
Is it?
Oh, there's a 2021, but the cheapest ones are 2022. Anyway, right. So 2022, 77.4 kilowatt hours. That's a big one. Comes with a 7-year warranty, so you've got another 6 years of warranty left on the whole thing. It's done 35,000 miles in a year. It's a 71 range, so it's a year and a half.
Serious miles.
How much do you reckon then? Or shall I pick a lower mile? Wow, this one's got 54,000 miles. Crikey. So I'll pick one of them. Here we go.
I'll just pick the cheapest one.
All right, cheapest one then. So how much do you reckon? So it's the bigger battery.
I'm reckoning 34.
35 grand.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, it just tells you what bargaining the Hyundai is at 30.
It's just that extra year. I guess it came out a year earlier. That's the only difference. So are we looking at that then? If you buy that for, let's say, £37,000 with 12,000 miles, is that going to be like 30 grand when it's another year from now, based on the Ioniq 5?
I think it's going to drop you.
So that's going to drop about 7 or 8 grand in
Depends on how many miles you do on it. Well, sort of.
So depreciation's back.
The thing is,
essentially, innit? Every car's always depreciated.
If you need to buy a car now. It's a good time. If you can wait, it might be worth waiting for a little bit. I can't see, like I say, I can't see stuff dropping. I can't see an e-tron being 15 grand next year.
No, God, no.
It's going to drop a little bit, but no more than any other car you've ever owned in history.
What you're doing is chasing a reduction in price, but then you're getting a car that's that much older, so it's not really benefiting you in any way.
It's just back to normal when you buy a car and then you sell it and you've lost some money on it.
I do think certain ones have not hit the
Plateaued.
bottom. You know, like they're saying at me, the Zoe, because you're not going to get much cheaper than 4.5. The Citroen C4 sort of thing, I don't think they're going to change much in a year.
No.
i3s, have we reached the bottom of them?
Oh, it's a difficult one to know, isn't it? I think the thing is with the range extender, it's obviously it's a good thing for a lot of people because it's a nice in between step. I think they're not going to drop a massive amount. Maybe the S's are going to drop because if this, I'm saying that though, 13 something for an S.
Even if you said 14.
Yeah.
I mean, for a good spec, low mileage one that's a 2020 3-year-old, you're looking at about 16 and a half to 17.
I can't see it dropping a
dropping
massive
much
amount
more.
No.
If it does, it'll be a few hundred quid. You might as well have had it 3 months sooner.
And enjoyed it and saved.
Yeah. If someone said, do you want to borrow my i3S for 3 months for 300 quid, you'd snap their arm.
Yeah,
so you might, like I said, now's the time.
Yeah.
So that's why. And is summer a better time to buy a car?
You get to test. Yeah, I suppose. Well, it is for certain things.
Not a convertible.
No. It's better for testing certain things. You test your AC, go out for a proper drive, have a good look at it. Less likely it's going to piss it down when you look at your car and make sure it's all right underneath.
It'd be interesting to know what Christmas brings though. On the prices.
Well,
I guess we'll revisit.
We will, yeah.
If it's massively different, or by then we might be in the second
car
or something. So
after writing the first one off,
let's get insured. Right, okay. So again, this is a bit of a test. We're doing the podcasts.
How long is this one going for now?
An hour and 10 minutes.
An hour and 10 minutes.
Oh wait a minute. It says 10 minutes. There must be a maximum length, so it could be longer than that. How long have we been?
I don't think we're going on 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Do you know what time you arrived?
Oh wow, I've got to go soon.
What time did you get here?
About 5.
So I reckon it's about an hour and 50. Yeah, an hour and 10 minutes. Anyway, either way, we're done. So just give us feedback. Now there is actually somewhere
you
to
can
do
put
it.
Something in there and
You've
we
got
can
a comment
reply
section.
to it.
Because this is
I
never
guess
going to be big.
you're probably much likely to get a reply from us in this channel because there's less comments for us to go through.
Yeah, probably. So yeah, let us know what you think. Used cars, all that sort of stuff, and anything else. Is it worth filming this? Because then I have to edit it together, which isn't hard. But should we just keep it audio?
Nah, I think just throw it in and just match it up. And if there's mistakes in it, there's mistakes in it, and there's no point cutting bits out unless one of us swears really badly, and then we'll have to take it out.
Well, we have one more duty.
Oh.
The final word of the podcast, which is when we end it, is always Harry's for those that are unfamiliar, as you may have seen on the previous 19 podcasts. And the final word is...
Fandango.